Digimon Adventure 02 The Beginning, the first dedicated 02 story in over 20 years, released in the fall of 2023 and brought with it massive revelations about the origin of the Digidestined and a shocking final few minutes that kind of changes everything. But how does that ending tie into the 02 epilogue we first saw 20 years ago that the Digimon team still insists is canon? And how does this 02 film connect with the events of 2020's Last Evolution Kizuna and that movie's heartbreaking ending? We are covering it all in this video. Spoilers for the ending of 02 The Beginning in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sayonara Digivices. At the end of this film, as of February 29, 2012, in Digimon Adventure canon, the Digivices are gone. No D3s, no original Digivices, and that's for every human on Earth partnered with a Digimon, not just the main characters. We learn in this film the hidden truth, the origin of all Digidestined is that Louis, the first human child to form a partnership with a Digimon, made a wish as if his Ukomon was some kind of genie, asking for friends and for all of those friends to each have their own Digimon. Ukomon granting this wish created a phenomenon where every year kids were paired with Digimon, and every year the number of kids paired with Digimon doubled. As for how Ukomon achieved this, it's hinted at that this Digimon has some connection to a kind of all-powerful deity or god. Kari speculates that it might be homeostasis, but this is left ambiguous. In the film, Louis and Ukomon have been separated for years, but Ukomon returns in a big way in the year 2012 and tries to give Louis the biggest birthday present yet, attempting to give every human on Earth a Digimon partner of their own all at once. That's 7 billion Digimon spawning overnight if Big Ukomon successfully grants this wish. The 02 team determined that every human on Earth suddenly getting a Digimon would be catastrophic. This would be the equivalent of the population of Earth doubling overnight. Almost a reverse Thanos, if you will. And think about it, that's double the food, double the space required, adults using their digital monsters as weapons of war and mass destruction. The 02 cast agree that Big Ukomon's plan must be stopped, but wonder what it could mean for their partnerships, if it's true that Louis' original wish was the only reason they are partnered. Davis and Vmon, Ken and Wormmon, etc. conclude that even if it's true that some outside force, i.e. Ukomon, is responsible for connecting them all those years ago, they themselves are the cause of their now unbreakable bonds. Davis and Vmon, for instance, worked on and built their partnerships over years of friendship. They feel confident that defeating Ukomon and reversing the wish for every human to have a Digimon won't cause Vmon and the others to suddenly disappear. Once the dust settles and Ukomon is defeated, we see that they were right. With Ukomon gone, the humans' Digivices disappear, but not their Digimon. We see kids around the globe maintain their connections with their Digimon even as their Digivices turn into a golden dust that flies up into the atmosphere. Mina and Meramon in India, Willis and his twin Digimon in North America, Catherine and Floramon in France, all still together without the device that originally linked them. Personally, I think the Digivices going away but the bonds remaining was an incredible moment in the film and for the franchise in general. It is arguably my favorite point in the whole film. There's a nostalgic fondness for the Digivice and it certainly has meaning to the heroes and the viewers, but the Digidestined and their Digimon have kind of outgrown the Digivice. Now, it's all great that Vmon, Hawkmon, and the others didn't fade away after Ukomon was stopped, but what about Digimon we did lose shortly before the events of this film? Specifically, what about Last Evolution Kizuna and that film's shocking end? Spoilers for Last Evolution Kizuna as well as how these two films connect are coming right after a word from this video's sponsor. Surfshark is a longtime friend of the channel. They supported us early in the Ghost Game review era. Maybe you've heard your favorite YouTube channels talking about VPNs but aren't quite sure what they are. Surfshark VPN is your own private network that keeps your personal data protected from big companies and cyber criminals, while also letting you virtually travel to any country on Earth by swapping your IP address. What that really means is you can unblock and access content libraries and streaming services that aren't available in your country with Surfshark VPN. Maybe you've heard that the new anime you want to watch is on Japanese Netflix, but you're in North America or Europe, for instance. Boot up Surfshark, select Japan, hit connect, and suddenly Netflix thinks you're in Japan and shows you what you want to watch. Even on YouTube, I'll give you an example. Saturday Night Live uploads full sketches to their YouTube channel, but you can only watch those if you're in the US or if you've got Surfshark connecting you with a US IP address. Surfshark wants to help you out with an exclusive Black Friday deal. Enter the promo code DIGINO to get up to 6 additional months for free at the link in the description below. Surfshark even offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk to trying it out. Thank you to Surfshark. Now let's talk about the connection between Last Evolution Kizuna and 02 The Beginning. At the end of Kizuna, Tai, Matt, and even Sora lost Agumon, Gabumon, and Biomon, who faded away as their human partners grew up and the endless potential that apparently fueled their Digimon seemingly dried up. Throughout the film, we saw a strange timer on their Digivices that symbolized how much time they each had with their Digimon partner. So now that the Digivices are gone and no longer matter, does that mean Agumon and the others suddenly come back? Well, no, not exactly. The Digivice, as it relates to the Kizuna timer, was more like a heart monitor that can read BPM but doesn't dictate BPM, you know? The Digivice showed how much time Tai and Agumon had left together, but it wasn't the actual thing that caused Agumon to fade away. Therefore, the Digivices Digivices vanishing at the end of 02 The Beginning doesn't necessarily solve the missing Agumon dilemma. It's also worth noting that we barely see the original adventure cast in this film, 02 The Beginning, only short cameos of Tai and Izzy with no spoken lines. Noteworthy, we do not see any of their Digimon, minus TK and Kari's, who are of course also part of the 02 cast. No sight of Palmon, Tentomon, or Gomamon in this film. It's left open to interpretation whether all of the OG crew's Digimon have vanished in the time between Kizuna's end and this movie's start, just like Tai, Matt, and Saurus. We also need to acknowledge that nothing in this new film explicitly states that the timer which took Agumon, Biyomon, and Gabumon away from their partners won't come for Davis, Ken, and their team's Digimon. It's been about 2 in-universe years since the events of Last Evolution Kizuna, and with the 02 kids being just a couple years younger than the OG cast, Davis and the others are now about the same age Tai, Matt, and Sora were when we saw their partners fade away. Now, if you were hoping for a follow-up to that major plot point of Kizuna in this 02 The Beginning film, you did not get it. Whether a goodbye is imminent for the 02 pairs, or if the Digivice going away somehow changes that, we do not get an answer in the 2023 film. Where we can find some answers for the fates of these characters is in the 02 Epilogue, which aired all the way back in 2001, but takes place in the year 2027. The Epilogue. Just to get us all on the same page, Digimon staff have stated on multiple occasions, even very recently, that the Epilogue is canon. That scene where adult TK was a novelist and all of the adventure cast had kids and their Digimon by their side, that is the end of the adventure story. Kizuna's shocking ending does not change that, even if it feels paradoxical, and neither does 02 The Beginning's ending. So how can that be? How do these things possibly connect? 02 The Beginning is kind of funny because Louis' wish that everyone would have a Digimon actually seemed in line with the Epilogue. TK's voiceover in the Epilogue stated that in the year 2027 everyone had a Digimon, children and adults all around the world, so that's an easy connection, right? Problem solved? Well, no, Digimon writers wouldn't make it so simple for us, because by the end of this film, Ukomon is stopped and Louis' wish does not come true. In the winter of 2012, the 02 crew stopped Ukomon from giving every human a Digimon. So does the number of Digidestined doubling every year now stop in 2012? Or does it continue until the 2027 Epilogue? Did Ukomon and Louis never have anything to do with the annual doubling of human and Digimon partners, and that was bound to happen no matter what Louis did or didn't wish for? Was the doubling going to happen no matter what, and Ukomon simply took credit for it? Looking again at the Epilogue, we also know that Agumon, Gabumon, and any potentially missing Series 1 Digimon must come back to us at some point, as they're all seen in the Epilogue. Now, interestingly, there are actually no Digivices seen in the Epilogue, written and animated 23 years ago, so the Digivices vanishing at the end of 02 The Beginning is actually very compatible with the ending that we've seen. Some fans were speculating whether or not Vmon and the other Digimon would still be able to digivolve without the Digivices, and our answer is in the Epilogue. It's seemingly a yes. Evolution is still possible without the Digivices because we see adult Ken and Stingmon as detectives. Okay, so we have a couple truths about the 02 Epilogue that don't seem compatible with where we leave things off in Last Evolution and 02 The Beginning. 1. Agumon, Gabumon, Piyomon, and the others were lost around 2010, but are somehow back in the 2027 Epilogue. 2. In the year 2027, every human on Earth has a Digimon partner, despite Ukomon's plan to give humans Digimon seemingly being stopped in the year 2012. So how do we solve these story conflicts between where we leave off in 2012 and where we end up in 2027? I believe the answer just might be an upcoming third film in what could end up being a sequel trilogy, a part 3 that finally gets us the Epilogue and answers our unanswered questions. We've got to get Agumon, Gabumon, Biyomon, and the other lost Digimon back in time for the 2027 Epilogue, after all. And not just that, we've got to get everyone on Earth their Digimon partners if this is all to be canon. Hear me out. Think about this. When Digimon 02's finale aired in 2001, its 2027 Epilogue felt like the far-flung future. Now, I hate to say it and make you feel old, but 2027 is only about 3 years away. The time between Last Evolution's 2020 release and 02 The Beginning's 2023 release was about 3 years, so if there is one last movie to fill in the blanks and tie up the loose ends between the end of this new film and the 02 Epilogue, how fitting would it be for that third film to come out in 2027, the year the original Epilogue is set? This hypothetical final film could tell one last story about how our ensemble of Digidestined got Agumon and the lost Digimon back without Digivices, while triggering some series of events that led to every human having a Digimon in the year 2027. This hypothetical film could hone in on a specific year to tell its story before time skipping to 2027 in its final few minutes to show more of the original Epilogue, or this final film could jump around in time, showing key moments for our heroes throughout the 2010s and 2020s, climaxing in the year 2027. Picture an Avengers Avenger-style film, members of the 1999 cast and the 02 team coming together and sharing screen time after each getting their solo films in Kizuna and 02 The Beginning. It could be Digimon Adventure 3, The Search for Agumon, or Digimon Adventure 3, The Ending. Let me know what you all think. Could the reason that there is so much conflict with Last Evolution, The Beginning, and the Epilogue's major plot points be that there's one more film on the way to connect the dots to complete a modern Digimon film trilogy? Or is the Digimon Adventure canon and timeline just a hopeless mess and no new film is on the way? Ultimately, I quite like the end of 02 The Beginning as an isolated conclusion to this 80-minute story, but as a chronological follow-up to Last Evolution Kizuna and as an event that occurs before the canon 2027 epilogue, there are just so many unanswered questions. Hopefully we get a third movie with the members of the original Adventure crew and the 02 team that sees the gang reunite with Agumon and the other lost Digimon, and that explains how everyone in the world eventually got a Digimon in 2027, despite Louis and Ukomon's wish seemingly no longer responsible for the number of humans partnered with Digimon doubling each year. I don't know, but I can't wait to find out. Thank you so much for watching. Remember that Surfshark is offering up to 6 additional months for free with the link in this video's description. Take care, have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video.